Yo, what's up, guys? This is your boy Bernie here, back at you again with another video of a Raw What Did We Learn episode. Of course, this is October 2nd, 2017, and today's episode was actually really interesting, and I liked some of it. I will say that there was a couple things I liked about it, especially towards the end when we get to the, I'll spoil it for you here. It's like the Shield reunion, I would call it, where we finally get that reveal of Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose together. But, of course, there's stuff that I disliked about the show, and today didn't feel like a 3-hour Raw. It did feel like a 2.5 hour, I will say. I think they could have done without some of the matches, but, you know, still a good things to come. So why don't we just get right into it? Of course, we're going to start off with the first thing that came to us was the moment of silence for Las Vegas. Of course, here on Future Corp, we sympathize for the families and friends that have been lost during this Vegas tragedy. And, you know, we're sending our prayers and hopes that everything is going to be all right, just like they did today on Raw. Hope everyone's doing okay there. But now to talk about wrestling here. So the first thing we got was a very... WWE always does this to us, and it's a promo where they can get anything that they did on TV look absolutely great. I don't know if it's like the WWE hype or something like that, but anytime they kind of do this, it feels like they do a really good job of it. I don't know what they do, but I do enjoy the video packages that we get from this. And basically what happens is that I was a little confused with the first match that came up. So it was Seth versus Braun Strowman, and the only reason why I got upset with this, or not upset, but I got confused was that I don't know if this, at the time, I didn't know if this was going to lead to something because both of them fought Braun Strowman. I don't know if this is just something for Braun Strowman to carry over until maybe Samoa Joe comes back or if someone else that he's trying to fight comes back. But I was really confused because, you know, they battled the tag team champs, so I don't know if he wants to take apart. Maybe he wants to find a tag team partner and take apart the division because of how big and strong he is. He just wants that championship belt around his waist. But nevertheless, that is what happened in this match. Of course, it was one of those matches where, you know, you got your spots where the smaller dude was quick, agile, and could move around. And then your Braun Strowman's, of course, is the more powerful, more meaty, more broody. And it ended up with a power slam and a loss for Seth Rollins. And immediately the people that came after them were Cesaro and Sheamus. And I was a little confused because I thought it was going to be yet another Sheamus and Cesaro feud, just kind of like how it is on SmackDown with New Day and Usos. And I don't know. I don't think I'm feeling it as much because we've seen this match over and over again now. I think longer than the New Day and Usos. And I think the New Days and Usos matches are a lot better in my opinion. I don't know. I feel like there's more good spots that happened in that match. And there's also, I wouldn't say there's more athleticism because you have Seth Rollins and Cesaro who are superstars that are so athletic that it's ridiculous how athletic they are. But I don't know. I just feel like I'm more invested in the Usos New Day match. So at the time, and we'll get to it later since there isn't Shield reunion, I felt that this was going to be a very boring thing, a very just monotonous thing that I was not feeling. And basically they just beat down Cesaro, but they beat down Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins. And that was it for that segment. And then there was a segment afterwards so now it looks like we're going to get a WWE Raw Women's Championship match between Alexa Bliss and Mickie James. And this started with last week with the promo battle that they had against each other. And then today where we had a little bit of a funny segment where basically Alexa Bliss put in diapers, old people stuff into the retirement homes items, or people that are very old. Alexa Bliss gave the items to Mickie James to symbolize that she's old. And the one bit of continuity that I think WWE is very stupid in and they want us to forget, even though it literally happened maybe a couple weeks ago, was the fact that Nia Jax was in the locker room with Alexa Bliss. And I didn't understand that from the fact that Alexa Bliss should be pissed at Nia Jax for the way that she hit him there, that she got electric chaired, which was like slammed down because she was on the shoulders of Nia Jax and slammed down. I think that's the electric chair. So she got electric chaired by Nia Jax. So in my thinking and my logic of it is, why in the hell is she still? Why are they still together in terms of their friends? Because it doesn't make any sense for continuity purposes, especially because it just happened like recently. So that's the only thing that kind of threw me off about that. And it's just something that WWE really needs to work on if they want to be better. I mean, they should be better at the things that they do, but of course, they just don't do it. For some God knows reason, they don't do it. So, I mean, that's really it for that segment. And I believe, sorry about this. So then we got a little Bray Wyatt promo, which is just, will it mean something? Of course, I'm going to talk about it later. Actually, no, let's talk about it now. So later on in the show, we had Finn Balor come out and cut a promo talking about how he doesn't want to face Bray Wyatt anymore. He's beat him as a person. He's beat him as the Demon. There's nothing else to do. And we get this weird sense that Bray Wyatt comes out and he talks about Abigail. Abigail's coming back. Abigail's returning. And I was really interested in this because, we haven't really seen Abigail from the Wyatt family. And I'm really speculating on who it could be. I don't know if they may change like Summer Rae or Dana Brooke. I don't remember where Summer Rae went. I don't know if she's on SmackDown or if she's still on Raw. But I do like the fact that we got a teaser that Abigail is coming. So I would really like to see who she is. If it is a she, I don't know if they're going to do some weird thing or not. But I would really love to see who Abigail is because that really intrigues me. And it brings another layer to the match and the feud that they have, because otherwise this feud was really boring and stagnant because we've already seen these guys battle 3 times already, and Finn Balor's won 2 of them, so this feud should definitely be over. But now that Abigail's in the picture, it creates a whole different perspective and a different angle of this storyline. I'm not going to say I'm excited for their match per se, but I will say I'm excited to see who Abigail really is. And if this is going to be kind of the return of the Bray Wyatt family, because that's something we've been missing. It's just the Bray Wyatt family. I think Bray Wyatt works better as a cult leader, like most YouTubers say. He's better as a cult leader because that his persona is that, and he's not really supernatural. It's more that he is a cult leader and people follow his ideas and messages, and that's what I like better. And I'm just going to go over the results quickly at the next thing. Sorry to kind of cut the Finn Balor Bray Wyatt thing short, but Elias wins against a match against Titus. Not really anything I was excited for. Elias could be doing something better. I think they should be doing a little bit more with Titus Worldwide. If they want to make that gimmick work really well, they should do something more with it than anything else. Maybe like a little more backstage segments of how Titus Worldwide is, selling napkins, selling different types of items like plates, TV shows, guest appearances, different stuff like that. I think that would work better if they had little backstage segments, almost kind of like the Fashion Police. I think it would work a lot better for Titus and Apollo, because I really want to see Apollo succeed in the WWE. When he was Uhaa Nation, everyone saw his athleticism, but but the problem was when he was at NXT, he didn't get to really show his character, and I'm still wondering what his character is other than he's a smiling dude. I would really love to see his character develop because I think he's a great talent and probably one of the most athletic guys in the company. And although athleticism will get you so far, it definitely won't get you to the point where you're with like Dean Ambrose. I'm sorry, like a Dean Ambrose, like an IC title feud, the IC title run. I think I would like to see that from Apollo, but I think he needs to go back down to NXT like I've been saying and develop that character, which would do wonders for him. And then the next match that we have here is Mickie James versus Nia Jax. Of course, this was a bunch of Nia Jax offense, being the Monster Brute, beating down Mickie James until Mickie James came back and, had a great flurry of offensive moves. It was a great, beautiful match to watch, but especially because Mickie James can go in the ring, and I think she's been so underutilized in this new role that, she's just a backup. She's just there for mere jobber specifications, such as she just does it to do the spot and, just wrestle a match. It wasn't really anything that special with her until she got in this feud with Alexa Bliss. I think this feud is working out perfectly for her, and this leads to Alexa Bliss interfering in the match, getting a DQ for Nia Jax. So this means that Mickie James won the match, and this prompted Kurt Angle to tell Mickie James, also with her being a 6-time women's champion, I believe, that she is going to get a title opportunity against Alexa Bliss. So that works out perfectly for that, because I think this could really work well until Asuka comes on the main roster and destroys everybody. And the next thing I wanted to talk about here is just this Matt Hardy and Jason Jordan thing. I don't know why they're teaming up together. It makes no sense to me in terms of, I don't understand, sorry for that little thing. I don't understand why they're teaming up, only because it just doesn't make any sense to why they would, other than you want to keep a tag team in the division, but this isn't a tag team that I was really interested in. And if you really wanted to keep the tag team in the division, you wouldn't have split up American Alpha and have this stupid gimmick where Jason Jordan is Kurt Angle's son, because it kind of pigeonholes him into an area where he has to almost be main event worthy, main event level, because of the lineage. I mean, Kurt Angle is a WWE Hall of Famer, although the same could be said about Curtis Axel. Kurt Angle was a multi-champion, so it kind of makes it into a different perspective, and I really wish that we would get more of Jason Jordan being built up the right way, or even just the storyline not existing at all and him still being with American Alpha, being mentored by Shelton Benjamin. I think that would have been a better storyline, but of course, WWE doesn't really like to do that. They like to do it their own way and basically pigeonhole the guy to where it's impossible for him to get over, because if he's getting pushed too hard, the crowd won't budge. So that's really it for that. And the surprising thing is that Gallows and Anderson won. I don't know who got the pin, but they got the win, which is a very important win, because you could tell that their team chemistry played a factor into it. Unlike Matt Hardy and Jason Jordan, although they're very good in-ring wrestlers, their chemistry isn't there, so you could understand why Gallows and Anderson won in that perspective. It also was interesting to see that Jason Jordan was not in a singlet. He had just trunks on, so people were talking about how it just made him look very generic and boring. I'm sure WWE listened to the fans or the podcasters that have been talking about it, and they finally did something about it. The next match that we got here was the Roman and the Reigns, as Wiseau likes to call him, versus The Miz. And this match starts off with a little bit of destruction, where we got the Miz Taraj interfering with Roman Reigns before the match starts, chair shots, everything. But then the Miz Taraj gets their comeuppance by Roman Reigns chasing them, beating him down with chairs, injuring everybody. And then the match officially starts. It's a decent match. I will say it's not that bad. Roman Reigns, I'm never saying Roman Reigns is a bad wrestler. I never think that crossed my mind, but there is some cases and instances, like where we got the John Cena versus Roman Reigns match, where it felt very, very boring, very slow, and very sluggish. Nothing I was really particularly fond of or rated it an instant classic. You could say their promo kind of died down a little bit and kind of ruined the feud for me, in my opinion. But nevertheless, the match happened, and we're talking about The Miz versus Roman. A lot better than their last week's match, which, I didn't really understand why they had a match then and this week. Just because Roman Reigns beat him. It didn't make any sense to me. And the interesting thing was, which we will talk about at the end of the show, and something I want to harp on, Sheamus and Cesaro also interfere in this match, and they beat up Roman Reigns with the help with Miz, and then Miz and all them beat him down. Of course, we got the little Shield thing, how they entered in the ring. We got Shield tendencies from Sheamus and Cesaro and the Miz. So there was a beatdown there again, which will lead to what we're going to talk about later on in the show. But for now, the next thing that we have to talk about is I don't really want to talk about it, so I'm just going to say the results. So it's Sasha Banks and Bayley versus Emma and Alicia Fox. Emma leaves the match. Alexa Fox gets pinned by Bayley. She gets her win back. And it leads us to the next 2 points that are very, very interesting, and the things I really want to talk about here is, so we had the Cruiserweight division and Raw again with a little address from Enzo Amore to the Cruiserweights, and how none of the Cruiserweights can now touch him, or none of the Cruiserweights can touch him. They can't touch him for two things. One, they can't touch him if they want a title shot, which all of them did, so they're never going to get a title shot. The next thing is that if anyone touched him, is that they would be fired from the WWE, which, I mean, I don't know why Kurt Angle would sign on that. To me, that doesn't make any sense in terms of, Kurt Angle wouldn't sign something so stupid to get the heel that much of an upper hand. I mean, the entire division, really. And we'll later find out who is a new member of the Cruiserweight division, as we'll find out later in this episode. But what we see here is that Enzo Amore is still over with the crowd. And I know WWE has backstage heat with him, but I don't understand, if this was your plan all along, then why did you put the title on him? Like, I will still harp on the fact that Enzo should have never won the title. He should have just been still in a feud with Neville, and their battle should have still continued if you wanted to do it that way. But I didn't like the fact that now we got a new guy, and I'll just say it now, Kalisto is now part of the 205 Live division, which he should have been, because they didn't really do anything with him as Kurt Angle signed the newest member. It just didn't make any sense to me why he wasn't in the division, and it doesn't make any sense to me now as to why he is the new guy to face Enzo Amore. And I'll talk a little bit about the Enzo Amore promo versus the whole Cruiserweight division. But the thing I really want to talk about here is, why is my boy Cedric Alexander getting screwed over? This dude had an amazing match against Kota Ibushi at the Cruiserweight Classic, but they just don't see that guy. I don't understand why Vince doesn't see him. He's got the build, he's got the look. I mean, obviously, the charisma's not really there. I mean, the thing is, I don't know if the charisma's not there, because the only thing we really saw him in that was memorable was the mid-card title, aka Alicia Fox. That's the only time we ever saw him, like, interact with somebody other than with, like, Noam Dar. I just think it was a really bad pairing to put Cedric with Alicia Fox. I think it kind of brought him down a little bit. And it's not because of her. It's just because of the way that they forced him to have, like, a girlfriend in this, which is just, I don't really trust girlfriend angles that much unless there's a situation where it's, like, Edge and Matt, which was, that was really, really a serious situation. So I don't want that type of, like, a real-life boyfriend and girlfriend with another guy. I don't want that to happen again. Vice versa, girlfriend with boyfriend and another girl. Like, I just don't want that situation to happen again. But I think that is the way that you do these feuds. But the problem is, it just wasn't believable, and I don't think it's something that Cedric should be having him forced that on him. So that's my only gripe with that. And let's just get into what Enzo Amore said. He basically said that the Cruiserweights can go to hell. Says that he put 205 on the map once again because the Cruiserweights have been twice now, 2 weeks in a row, that they've been the main event of Monday Night Raw, which, hasn't happened before. And it's not because they can't put on a good match. It's just, they just make them wrestle generic matches. And if that, they also make them like 5 minutes. So once JBL said, they have like, oh, that's the reason why we have the extra hour. I mean, if we did really have that extra hour, then we would have had like a 20-minute Cruiserweight match instead of like a 5-minute no one cares match. And it's not even like a tease to 205 Live, because it just, it's like, everyone's like, what is this? Like, what's going on? There's no like storyline build. There's no nothing. So of course, no one's going to be watching the 205 Live show itself on the WWE network. But let's just go on to what else Enzo Amore said. So he says he earns the most money. He carries the division. He had to cross the line for the belt. And basically the whole Cruiserweight division comes out. They're all standing around the ring. He's inside the ring. They're all outside the ring. He criticizes each and every one of them. And then when he gets to Drew Gulak, he's wearing a suit, and he's like, "Oh, you're wearing a suit just like Corey Graves," which is a shot at what happened in the heated discussion between Corey Graves and Enzo Amore. So what happened was that Corey Graves said that his son was dancing like Enzo Amore and he failed as a father, while Enzo Amore took a very harsh approach, I will say. I don't know if it's just like a character build. I mean, I mean, I'm not gonna speculate and go negative and say that it was, but he basically said that it's you should look up to me because I'm in the ring while you're wearing a suit. So I mean, it's a little zinger, a little harsh. I will say it was very, very harsh. I don't know if it's a shoot or not. I'm hoping and praying that Enzo's really not that much of a dick like they say he is, but if he is really that much of a dick, that was kind of a low blow and something that should have been done at all. And I'm really sick to my stomach that really happened because, Corey Graves is out of the WWE ring because he had a concussion. He had too many. He got hit in the head too many times. And I'm sure he would rather be wrestling right now because he actually was a decent and pretty good wrestler when I watched some old NXT tapes. He was actually really good. And it just kind of, it sucks that now he has to be in this position. I'm sure he wants to be a wrestler more than anything else, but he's really good on the commentary. He's really good on the mic. I really like his satire. He's one of those guys that is just very likable, and I don't understand what's the deal with Enzo Amore being a dick. If he is being a dick, I'm hoping this is just kayfabe, but if he is being a dick, this is kind of a low blow, Enzo, and this needs to stop because you already have heat against you, and I don't understand why you want more heat on you. Yeah, you want to be yourself and you want to do your thing, but at the same time, don't be a douche. You don't need to be a douche just to get your point across that no one likes you and everyone's just, you're getting punished for being backstage. I mean, you need to understand that if you're going to do these stupid, idiotic things that people have been saying that you're doing, like bringing escorts, bringing people that just want to take photos, things that are no-go in the locker room, if you guys agreed on that, like a whole locker room agreed on that, then you should respect the opinions and the rules of the locker room with everyone in that locker room, Raw or SmackDown, whichever division you're in, now 205 Live, respect it and learn from your mistakes because it looks to me that you're not learning from it and you're still doing the same stupid bullshit that you keep doing. So make sure that you actually learn your lesson, and I'm hoping this is just kayfabe, but let's continue on. The biggest kind of ooh and zinger line was also against TJP, saying that, he's got more chest hair than TJP has on his face. He wants to check his ID because he doesn't want to assault a minor. A very funny line. I kind of laughed at that. See, the thing with Enzo is that he's a very good talker, and I like his zingers and his one-liners. But, of course, he's been a dick lately to the whole backstage there. So I really want to see him become smarter and also learn his lesson, because if he doesn't learn his lesson, then they're going to fire you, and the money that you've been bragging about and the things that you've been saying are going to mean shit. And that's basically it for that part. The next part I want to talk about is the ending here, where at the end of Raw, it wasn't the Cruiserweights, but it was Roman Reigns in the back, where he was selling his injuries, that he got hit in the ribs, even though he's got the protective damn vest. At least I want a heel. What I want a heel to do is to rip off that damn vest and then hit him with the chair. That to me would be a very heelish and dick move and would actually mean something. So I'm hoping that happens, but I don't think it's going to happen because maybe Roman's trying to hide his gut or something. I don't know why he wears the vest the whole time. I don't know why a heel hasn't just decided to rip the vest off, but maybe it's being saved for a very special event. But anyway, he's selling his injury in the back. We see Dean Ambrose hop into the scene with him just looking at Roman looking at him, and then all of a sudden Seth Rollins appears out of the scene staring at Roman as well. And I'm not going to lie, guys, this got me really hyped for this. It really got me hyped for this because I really enjoy the way that they introduced the Shield back together again. It's just, I don't know if bringing it for TLC just doesn't make any. It just kind of wastes the big moment that the Shield reunion is. Like, I would understand if you wanted to do it at WrestleMania, a SummerSlam. To me, that is when you do the feud, and that's when you like build it up from like a half year to a year, because that to me is like a really big storyline, because the Shield is the last great faction that was there besides the Nexus. I believe the Shield was after them, but the Shield was a great faction that deserves a lot more respect than just putting them on the TLC card just to sell tickets. I know ticket sales are low, but come on, guys, we don't need to do this. Let's just have the Shield reform when they go against the Balor Club. I think that storyline would have been way better. I don't know what Vince's issue is with the Balor Club, or just the club, if you want to call them that. I don't understand what the issue is with them. I think that would have been such a better storyline, and I'm glad that it's Cesaro and Sheamus that are in this and not the Miz Taraj, because I don't know if WWE has amnesia or not, but the Miz Taraj got beat by Seth and Dean Ambrose like last week. So, of course we got some ambiguity issues with WWE, so I'm glad that it's not the Miz Taraj, but rather it's Sheamus and Cesaro, which is excellent, and I love the way that they wrestle. And I'm excited to see it only because I don't know if I'm falling for the hype. Maybe I am, but I do understand and I do like the fact that Seth Rollins, Dean Ambrose, and Roman Reigns are now officially, they haven't done the fist bump yet, which will be the final indication as to when they're going to be together as a tag team. But I do like that a lot better than going against the Miz Taraj. But at the same time, it's still disappointing to see that it's going to be wasted on a TLC pay-per-view, because this feud should do so much better. It should be on a WrestleMania, a SummerSlam, like I've been saying. And it's just, I just get so frustrated with WWE because they just put these guys in such bad positions and just bad situations that it just doesn't make any sense to me why you would put them in that moment, in that heated area. It's, I don't know. I get very upset with it. Man, I mean, let's see how it goes. I'm very excited to see when they finally fist bump, and the crowd was really into it. And this is also in a low-key way trying to get Roman Reigns that cheers that he needs for WrestleMania 34 against Brock Lesnar, because they want him to be a dual champion and they want him to be the top guy. But I don't think nothing is going to get Roman Reigns over. They've tried so many times, 4 years now, going into the 5th year. It's just nothing's going to work, WWE. Turn him heel first, and then you can build him on. And then you can build him on from there. And then once he gets over as a badass, if you make him like a badass, says only one line, because he's not The Rock. He's not. I know he maybe in the back he sounded like The Rock, and you said, oh, he's Samoan, so he's got to be like The Rock. Of course, Kevin Dunn, he's got to be like The Rock. It's like, no, Vince, it's not like that at all. Just remember that every character is different. Every person is different. And I don't need you to put Roman Reigns in a position where you think he's The Rock and can have these silly catchphrases, can say funny things. It just doesn't work. Let him be a badass. Let him do that stuff. I mean, that's kind of the Roman that we want. But instead, we get this kind of Roman that's very, I would say garbage, because they try to build him up as like an underdog, hero character, which, come on, WWE. That's not going to be a super over thing. The only underdog we want to see is like a Sami Zayn, at least in my opinion. I don't know why people don't like Sami Zayn. I think he's such an amazing wrestler. The way that he battled Nakamura on Takeover in Brooklyn, I believe, Brooklyn 2, I believe. I think that's the underdog story that I want to see, and we saw that on SmackDown Live on Tuesday last week when Sami Zayn got into this kind of heated promo with Kevin Owens. I mean, that's the Sami I want to see battle for the WWE Championship at some point in his career. It probably won't ever happen, which sucks because he's such a goddamn good wrestler and he deserves way better than what he's getting now. But that's going to be the end of this episode, guys. That's going to be the end of the What Did We Learn from Raw, October 2nd, 2017. I hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. Sorry it was a little bit long, but there was a lot of stuff in this. So this Raw was actually pretty good in terms of building up storyline for the next pay-per-view. But it's just a pay-per-view that no one really cares about, and it's just a gimmick pay-per-view. It's not really anything special like Survivor Series or even the Royal Rumble, which is going to be way better. But like I said, that's the end of the episode. I hope you guys enjoy. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe to this video. Remember that we got the Dragon Ball Super episode next week. Peter's going to do a fantastic review on that when it comes out. You also got your Hell in a Cell previews and predictions that I'm going to be doing later this week. Hopefully on Thursday it's going to be out. And we also got the reaction show on Sunday. So I hope you guys liked the episode. I'll holler at you guys later. Peace.